Good morning, everyone. We'll just give a couple of more minutes, then we'll start. In the meanwhile, if you all have any questions, let me know.
Hi, Hemant. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Kalai. Okay, so do we have anyone who is joining today and has missed the previous session? I think everyone has already had joined the first session as well, right?
Yeah, think so,
Yeah,
Hemant,
mostly it
because
looks like, yeah.
yeah.
All right. I think we'll get started. What I'll do is I'll have a quick recap on what we have seen yesterday. We started with the introduction to the cloud computing, which was our first chapter to understand about the cloud computing, what exactly uh, is a cloud computing is all about. And we said that it is just renting the IT infrastructure instead of investing in the hardware. And and we have just discussed about pay as you go model, like something like there is something like pay for it, what you use it. So in this concept, we said there are different service providers who are in the market like Amazon, OCI, Microsoft, and Google. And some of the advantages for cloud computing for the customers if they want to opt to move to the cloud is cost. They eliminate the cost, and then they reduce the cost, overall cost, what they are spending in terms of when they compare it with the on-prem, the data centers, and in the moving to the cloud. And also with that, they are getting better performance and upgraded infrastructure, the latest infrastructure as well. And the speed is there. It can be globally scaled because they have multiple regions across the world. And with all this, the productivity is increased and performance, they are getting better performance with a greater and better reliability with having fault tolerant options. And then we jumped into see what is OCI is all about. OCI, we said they have more than 50 cloud regions and offering around more than 80 cloud services in all these regions. And these services we have divided into 7 major categories where we saw that we have core foundation services, core categories, OCI core, uh, which has all the compute, network, and storage services. And then there is governance and administration part, which covers all the IAM security, and then database and so on and so forth. And we also discussed like there are some tools like to help the customers to migrate their environments from on-prem to OCI, which makes the life easier for the customer. With using these tools, it eliminates the risk of missing anything and making everything into place smoothly. Yeah, so we saw this sheet which explains all the locations currently which are live, and then we've discussed about the regions, how you choose the region, how you have to go with the closest one, and then based on your reliance, residency policies and compliance policies, you will decide to select which region you have to go with, and based on the service availabilities. And then we have discussed this concept of a region, what is a region is all about, and availability domains. In each region, how many ADs will be there, and what is an AD, and how this AD is having use for the high availability concept and a disaster recovery concept. And within the ADs, we have discussed that there are FDs. So each AD is having 3 FDs. FDs are something like grouping of hardwares. And yeah, I think this is all about ADs and FDs. Yeah, so we have discussed how you avoid any single point of failure in case if you have multiple ADs in your region and you want to distribute your services. You can have your primaries in one AD and the secondaries in the second AD. And then you can also, so that is for the maximum availability of architecture, not exactly for the disaster only. So disaster, if you are your data residency compliances allow you to move to a different country. If your country is having only one region, then yes, you can also uh, have it in a different country itself for your DR. And this slide explains how you will manage if it is only one AD and you distribute your services across 2 different FDs. And then we've discussed about the different service models like IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. We said that we'll be concentrating mostly on the IaaS part and few services on PaaS. Okay, this is a slide where we have discussed about the core infrastructure part and other categories which we are going to look into this course. All right, so I think we were in this particular slide when we have yesterday at the end of the day. So we were discussing about the distributed cloud options which we have along with the OCI. We have discussed about the DRCC, the hybrid cloud and multi-cloud as well. So if you look into the dedicated region cloud at customer, so all the OCI services running in customer data center here, whatever the OCI services which are offered by the provider, these services are running in your own data center. As we saw the other slide, this is the DRCC dedicated region cloud at customer. It explains us like this is the customer's data center and you have allocated a space to Oracle operations team to set up the hardware support, required hardware, and they get the access to your center and they are setting up this cloud racks, the managed cloud racks for us. So this offering provides all the OCI public cloud services in a self-contained independent cloud region in a physical location that we choose. So in your own data center of choice, and it is an air gap solution, meaning that this region can be fully disconnected from the outside network. And customers can start small and they can scale all the way up to 450 plus racks very quickly. That's what in DRCC you can do. Going back, along with DRCC, we have Oracle Cloud VMware solution. This is something like OCVS, we call it as Oracle Cloud VMware solution in uh, in public cloud, and we have autonomous DB Exadata Cloud at customer. And this is like your Exadata XSCC, we call it as Exadata Cloud at customer, and we also have autonomous database dedicated box cloud at customers. These two offerings, you can opt for having the database alone in your own data center. Now there is, I think in last year, they have also introduced something like CCC, which is uh, compute at class customer. So the computes are usually on the public cloud, but there is an option to have them in cloud at customer. So compute cloud at customer, CCC. And a roaming edge infrastructure is something like a disconnected infrastructure which you can connect it from anywhere and configure it as an isolated infrastructure and use it as per your requirement. Okay. So coming to the multi-cloud concept, starting from 2019, Oracle and Microsoft have this private interconnect running between them. So what they have done is they have established the interconnect between these two data centers for all those customers who wants to have maybe a multi-cloud kind of architecture. So like some resources are running from Azure and some of them are running from Oracle. So from Oracle side, we have something called Fast Connect, and from Microsoft, they will use this interconnect and they build an express route between these two data centers to have a high network bandwidth with a low latency, so that if you have some applications running in this Microsoft data center, they can easily communicate to the database which is running in OCI. And you can see in this slide the interconnect regions. 12 Azure interconnect. I think this number is also increased. There are more interconnect regions. So in this regions, you'll see less than 2 millisecond latency private interconnection. And for all the incoming and outgoing data, there is no additional charges. That's what it says. There is no egress or ingress charges for the data. So wherever you see this Microsoft icon next to the region name, so in that region, you have this interconnect. So Microsoft will use the express route and OCI will use the fast connect. Using these two connections between these two data centers, we establish this something called interconnect. And we also have Oracle database service for Azure. So if you want to do the provisioning of database from the Azure like experience and you are familiar with Azure, and from this interface itself, you can launch the database and provision the database and access the database within the screens. So this service is to help the users to familiar Azure native user experience you'll be getting, and automated identity, networking and monitoring integration is available. And less than 2 millisecond latency with the private interconnect. This is the tunnel which will be established between these Azure Express route and OCI Fast Connect. And there will be no additional cost for the data transfer here and there. Okay, so with that, we are done with the first session, first chapter, which is the introduction part. So we'll move on to the next one, which will be on OCI sign-up process. Mm, yeah. So before we do that, any questions? Okay. So what we are going to do today is yeah.
So in this training, we will get some experience also like a lab facility. So for that only, it will be
Yeah,
helpful,
yeah,
in this.
yes. So for your lab hands-on experience, what we are going to suggest is to have this sign up for the free tenancy with your name, and you get this uh, account created for yourself. and each and everyone will be having their own accounts. And on the day when we start the session, we will be having some lab for that particular topic which we are going to discuss in the session. And simultaneously, I will also be giving you some PDFs which will have some exercises for you to do in your tenancies, which is your accounts. So that's why it's very important for us to have this account created, because daily basis when we are finishing some topic in the session, and it will have some lab exercises and these PDFs which we will share with you. So you need to follow those things, and whatever we are doing in the day, in the session in the morning. So I want you guys to finish it up on that day whenever you have some time, and come up with some questions on the next day if you have faced some issue while doing that exercise. So that's why we want everyone to create their own accounts. So that I'm going to explain how you will be doing this sign up process. And then we will have the OCI console overview. After that, we will jump into the course content. What is the exact course which we are going to cover in this training? Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think most of the cloud, all the cloud providers are offering something like the free tier or a free account, a free trial account. Even a Google has this, or Azure, or any other provider is also. Mostly they have this option. So if you are interested in other cloud providers also, I encourage you guys to create your accounts in that tenants in that particular providers as well. And then you can compare something here and there as well. So that will be more beneficial for you going forward. After you finish the OCI training, then maybe you can plan for something like that. And we will understand what is this OCI is offering for us, and we'll see how to do the sign up process. And then we'll see the console overview and content, course content. So OCI is giving us a free tier, which includes limited promotional trial that allows you to explore some services, a wide range of services within this free trial period. And this free trial period is for the 30 days or till the time you complete or finish your $300 free credits. So you will be getting $300 free credits along with the account when you create it. So either you finish your 300 credits or you're done with your 30 days. Some of these wide range services which we are talking about, those services you will no more be able to provision them. It will not do any transaction on your card, but you need a debit card or a credit card which is internationally enabled. This is only for your validation purpose. But let's say I have used my credit card, and then after 20 days, maybe I have finished all my credits, and I have something running in OCI. And now for the additional charges, it will not do any additional transactions in my card until unless I convert this account into a paid account. So there is a process to convert the free account to a paid account, which we will have to go manually and do that until unless it will not do any transactions to the card. It will just say that if you are trying to provision something after the credits are consumed fully, then it will say, it will throw an error that you will not be able to provision this as you don't have credits. And it will ask you, do you want to convert it into a paid tenancy or something like that? But it will not do any transactions or charges to your card. And what you're getting, the wide range of services, it will be the database services, you will have analytics, compute, OKEs, and up to 8 instances across all the available services is what you can create. And you can also have up to 5 TB of storage with these 30 days free trial account. And once this 30 days free trial account is expired, or 30 days is finished, or you have all the credits completed, consumed, then your account will be automatically converted into always free cloud service account. So what that means is you will have always few services which are free for you to use. These are like unlimited services until unless, I mean, you ensure that you are logging into your account at least 6 months in a year. After every six months, if you are logging into the account and keeping the account active, this account will be there for you always. And in this account, you will be able to use some services which are always free services, like two autonomous databases and like Apex and SQL developers, which you can make use of these services, and also two AMD compute VMs and up to 4 instances of ARM compute services and block volumes, object storage. And I think here you will be getting around 10 GB or 20 GB of storage, which is always free. So how you do the sign up process? You'll be logging into this URL and you'll be filling in your address details, and this address details should be the details of your address which you have in the credit card which you are going to use to set up this account. So whatever the statement you will be getting in your for your credit card, so according to the statement's address, you need to fill in this address. So it should match line by line, so that it will not create any issues while doing the sign up process. And you'll be entering your valid credit card details. And while you are doing that, it will do a $1 transaction to validate your card. Once the $1 transaction is done, it will immediately credit back to your account once it is debited. And then you will be getting an confirmation email and your account will be active within minutes. You also have this reference video, which UnoGeeks has prepared. All right, so let's jump into the Chrome or some browser and see practically how to do this.
Hemant Kalai here. Only credit card is accepted or debit card also
Debit
accepted?
is also you can use if your debit card is enabled for international usage also. International transactions are allowed in your debit card.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anyhow. So what we are going to do here is we will go to Oracle Free account. So you'll see Oracle Cloud Free tier. You click on that. So this is oracle.com/incloudfree. That I think that's the URL which we have mentioned in this slide. So how it works, you have this 300 credits as we discussed. You can convert this anytime as pay as you go account, but which we then generally we don't do. And if you just scroll down here, you can see the services which are there for your trial account. That is like 30 days. In that 30 days, you can use this service, which is like data science service, digital assistant service, or speech, vision, document understanding. This is all coming from the AI and machine learning part. And always free. If you see always free. That means even if after your 30 days is done or your 300 credits are fully consumed, you will be able to use these services in your account. So you can see this always free, like this compute AMD compute instance. You have the page again, you can see compute trial. That means only with the credits you can use this. Always free is Apex, which you can use anytime. So these are all the services which we are looking into now. And as we have discussed, there are more than 80 plus cloud services. So you can see here network load balancer. This is always free. Networking part, service connector hub, flexible network load balancer, always free. VCNs, you can create VCNs which are always free. Flow logs, site to site VPN is always free. O&M part, we have monitoring services, application performance monitoring, logging services. There is a long list here, so you can explore them, like what all the services are offered in the OCI. So going back, we will click on the start for free. And then you will be providing the information of your country, let's say India, and you give some first name and last name. And then your email address. Human, click on this captcha. I think find all the creatures that go on 4 legs. You need to do twice, I think this one. So once you do this, you will be clicking on verify my email. That will send an email to your email which you are going to provide. And if you already have an account, then you're trying to create a new account for the 300 credits and the free 30 days free trial. So make sure that you are creating with a different name and with a different card. So the same card or the same name, email ID will not work. They will not allow you to do multiple accounts creation with the same name. So it should be a unique name. So I'll click on my verify my email and let me open my mail. Just give me a second. So it says email verification notification link has been sent. Yeah, so hey, there you go. So we'll be getting this verify your email address to create your OCI account. That's the email which you'll be getting, and you will have this verify email link in this. So then the first step, after you provide your account information, you'll get the email and then you verify that. And then once you click that, you will be redirected to the same page where you will be providing the password for the account. So now once the account is created, this email address will be the username for your account when you have to log into that account. And then the password will be, this one will be the password, whatever the password you are going to now set to this account. And this password must contain 8 characters, one lower, one upper, and you have to follow this password policy. So we'll set some password here and confirm that again. And once you do that, the customer type you will be selecting as individual and then the cloud account name. So this cloud account name, again, it's a unique name. You need to select one for your account. It here, as per the suggestion, it is giving something like this. If you want, you can change it. If that name is available, you can go for that. But this name will be your tenancy name. Going forward, you will see this name in your account, and all the resources in the compartments will be headed with this name. Below that, you will be creating the other compartments and the resources. And then you'll be selecting the home region. So this region will be the OCI region which you want to select to have your services provisioned. Mostly you can go with something like the regions which have multiple ADs uh, for your practice sessions. Like, it will be useful if you also know how the multiple ADs if you have to provision something. Like Ashburn has multiple ADs, Phoenix is having multiple ADs. So I'll go with US Ashburn. And then we will acknowledge this checkbox. And after you finish the terms and views, you click on continue. So this will take us to the next page, which is your address information. And here, this is where you have to ensure that you are providing the address, what you have in your credit card, which you are going to provide all those things. And then you will be moving on with with the next part, which is providing your credit card details. So once you provide all your address information, you will be moved to the payment verification method page. So this is where you click on adding the payment verification method, and it will prompt you to asking you for the credit card details. So verification method credit card, it says, I'll click on that. As you see, so all that address information which you have given will be coming up automatically here. So that's why we say those lines should be accurate with what you have in your statement. And then the card type you will be selecting as Visa, MasterCard, or Amex according to your cards, what you are going to use, and then validate this step. So once you do this validation step, once you add your card, then finally this checkbox will be enabled for you. So you'll click on this agreement and click finally on this start my free trial. Once you do that, you will be getting that email with your account activated details, saying that your account has been activated, and you will be getting that link to set the password for your account, or so password is already set. So that's how you get the account. And once the account is created, what you will be doing, then you can go to cloud.oracle.com. And here you see the cloud account name. So this is the account name which we are talking about. So if you see here, okay, I think it's gone. Right. We have something like Cloud Oracle, some number is there, right? 2359, something like that. So that will be our account name if that account was created in this time. But here you see this is another account name which I have. And once you submit that, click on next. It will take you to the identity and access management, which is your single sign-on page to log into your account. So then you'll be providing that username which you have used to create the account, and then followed by the password what you have set. Okay, by default, you will also have this MFA, multi-factor authentication, which will be enabled for all the users which I have created. So when you have the first user, when you create the first user, I will explain that anyhow, how we are setting up the MFA. And here you can see once we have logged in, it says this is a free tier account. You are using this free account and you want to upgrade to a paid account. So until unless I click on this upgrade and do that update of my card details and some payment details, uh, then only this account will start charging for any resources running in this. Till that time, there will be no charges for us. And you see, this is my old account, which is now converted as always free account. It doesn't have any credits, but still I can make use of some of the services. On the right side, you see the profile with which username you have logged in and what is your tenancy name. So now the tenancy name is your account name. When initially when you're creating the account, that is your name, and with this name only we have logged into the to this account. So that's your tenancy. So going forward, we call this as a tenancy. It's not an account. No more we call it as an account. And you have some user settings to change your password, or you want to change your name, or you want to add something as your information. You can do that under your information user settings. So these are the default details like first name, last name, email address, or any work information, anything you want to update. You can always do that by clicking on edit my profile. And you also have some console settings if you want to do some changes. And next to that, you have help options. If you need some help, and this help is dynamically, it will change wherever in whatever the page you are. Like let's say if you are in this page, which is about the user information. Now you can see the help talking about the documentations on changing your user password, how to change your email address, editing your profile. So this is related to this particular page. If you, let's say, if I'll click on this changing your password, so it will redirect and it will take me to the docs.oracle.com, which talks about managing my profile information and settings. And similarly, let's say if I am going back to the OCI console, this is OCI console, and let's say I am going into a compute instances. I'm in a compute instance page. And then let me go to the help. And now you see here, it talks about connecting to a Linux instance, connecting to a Windows instance, how you terminate an instance, creating a compute instance, all the information according to this particular page. The help is dynamically getting changed. And next to that, you have all the announcements. So if there are any updates, maintenance windows, any kind of outages to your tenancy, this is the section where it will be announced. And then you have a cloud shell, which is for your developer tools. And the next one is something which explains, I mean, talks about your region. So this is the region which we have selected while creating the account. We said we want the US East Ashburn as my home region, right? That's why it is showing US East Ashburn here. But in the real paid tenancies, in your actual tenancies, you can add multiple regions. Like if you want your US West Phoenix as your other region, you can also add that region. But in the free trial accounts, you will not be able to add additional regions. So if you just click on this, you will see that manage regions option is there. You can click on that and then select other region, whatever the region you want to subscribe from the action menu here, three dots, which you'll see, and click on subscribe. Subscribe for us is currently grayed out as it is a free account. So to access more regions, you must upgrade to a paid account. That's what the information is it is giving us here. But you can see all the regions which are available. So you can see total, I think one of 40 total items which are now getting as per the list. And then you have this search bar. If you want to search for any kind of resources, like let's say I don't know the navigation, so I will just search database. So I can see what services are there related to database, what documentation available under uh, help section, and what images are available in the marketplace. And services, I can see something like autonomous database, and I can click on view all. It will give me the complete list of services with the name database available in my tenancy. So I can see data masking, database actions, database connections, and Exadata database services, and so on. So these are all something related to the database services. So search bar is very useful to find your resources or to find any services if you are not sure what will be the navigation path to reach to that particular service. And then next to that, you have this cloud icon. You can just click on that to go back to the home screen. Wherever you are, it will take you back to the home screen if you just click on that. And then you have the navigation menu. We call this as hamburger menu, the main menu, or the navigation menu, whatever it is called. So you click on this, you can see the complete list of the services categorized in not that what we saw in the 7 major categories, but almost in similar way. You can see the first 3 parts are coming from the core services, like core infrastructure part, which is your compute. If you have to install, provision some compute instances, you'll be coming to this part. If you want to provision some storage, like block volumes, boot volumes, or file systems, or object storage. So this will be the section where you will be coming in and selecting the required service under this storage part. And then you have networking, which is creating your VCNs, creating your subnets, creating customer connectivities like site-to-site VPNs, and you have command centers under the networking part. So these 3 talks about the OCI core services. And then you have database section. Oracle database is Oracle own databases like autonomous database service. You have base database service. You have Exa database on dedicated infrastructure, and then you have uh, something called Exascale and Exadata Cloud at Customer. This is Exa-CC, and dedicated is Exa-CS. And databases, there is another section which is for other databases like MySQL, HeatWave, PostgreSQL. These are the other uh, options which you also have in OCI. If you want to have the HeatWave databases or MySQL databases, you can go with this. I think MySQL HeatWave is the same thing. Now, when we call it as a service, I think they have named it as MySQL HeatWave. And then you have the analytics and AI part. As you see here in the 7 major categories, only you are seeing looking into the services here as well. Analytics and AI is part of one menu here. You have all the analytics services and AI services. You have something like generative AI services, speech, vision, digital assistants, generative AI agents. You can explore some of the AI services from this generative AI part also. I think you can use some of this custom models to explore some chat or generate few things in your free account as well. And then you have developer services, which is talks about application integrations, visual builders, and Apex applications. Some of the API management, which is like agents which you'll add for your uh, monitoring part. So these are all your developer services. And then identity and security. This part is now under your governance and administration, which has the identity and access management, where you create all your users, groups in your tenancy, manage your policies to the groups to ensure a least privilege policies given. So that is all you will be managing with the identity part. And there are few other security tools to ensure that your tenancy is fully secured once you have provisioned all the resources in your account. And then you have O&M, which is observability and management. All the logging analytics, monitoring services come into this part. Hybrid cloud, as we said, dedicated regions, roving edge, VMware solutions. And then you have something called migration and disaster recovery. This is something like if you are doing some migration, you can do some assessments from this section. And then you have, this is all governance and administration part, mostly the billing and costing, and governance and administration talks about the account management details. And finally, you'll have marketplace, which talks about all the images which are available and how to uh, various custom images. You can directly use them to provision the resources. This is the marketplace. So mostly we'll be covering the complete compute, storage, networking part, and a few resources under the database like autonomous database, base database, and we'll talk about the XSES, and we'll go through some screenshots on how to provision them, because XSES you need a paid account only to do the provisioning. Hands-on will not be able to do, but database will still be able to do the provisioning with the free credits, and autonomous always free is there. So we will do the provisioning. So we will do the lab mostly when we are covering the topic like compute. I'll go to the console and do the provisioning of this compute instance and see how it gets provisioned. I'll show you that in every sessions we'll have the lab along with the initial discussion about the theory part. And followed with that, with the lab exercises, what the PDFs which you will be having, you will be supposed to finish that on that particular day. And then we will be also doing something from the identity and security part. We will look into all these cloud guards, uh, web application firewalls, certificates, security zones, security advisors. So we'll talk about the scanning services, and we'll talk about the key management, secrets, how you create the OCI walls. We'll all do this practically, creating the walls, creating the secrets, creating the master encryption keys, and adding these keys to your other services. How we do that, all we'll be going through a lab sessions on hands-on sessions. And from the observability part, we will have some sessions on the monitoring part, logging sessions, logging analytics, how you enable the logs. We'll talk about all the default logging services available in OCI. And then we will also have a sessions on billing and cost, understanding the cost analysis part, how to set the budgets. And from governance and administration, we will talk about the tenancy management, how you have the quotas, policies, limits. This will be all covered. So I'll jump into the course content, where we will discuss in detail. So before that, you have any questions?
What is the duration of this course? Duration.
So the duration of the course will be around 6 to 7 weeks. Mostly we are planning to 7 to 8 every day, but mostly I'm just thinking like to decide and extend this like 7 to 8:15 or 8:30, which we will communicate to you by the end of the day. And in the course, we will only have the sessions from Monday to Friday. There will be no sessions on Saturdays and Sundays. So it's a 5-day week. And to starting with what we are going to cover. Yeah.
Kalai, can you please mute? Okay. So if any time we will miss the session, then what will
Yeah,
happen?
every day you will be having the recordings. So for all the sessions you have, we will be giving you the recording. The access will be there for you for this recording forever. And along with this recording, you will be also getting the lab PDFs, and you will have the slides which I'm going through in the day sessions. That those PPTs will also be shared with you. And along with that, I have some notes for the lab sessions which we are going to do on the daily basis. Those notes are also shared with you. So you
Okay.
can have the recording if you have missed one day, and if you have still have some doubts, so catch up something, we can have a 5 minutes extended session on that day to clarify those things. All right. So just
And
quickly,
also,
yeah.
and also you will help to how to prepare for the interview and all, right?
Sorry.
Also, you will help how to prepare for interview and all for
Yeah. At
this.
the end of the session, we will have one session particularly to discuss about how to clear your interviews and how to clear your OCI certification exams also, especially the OCI Architect Associate and Foundation Services. And you can also
Mm,
plan for your professional certification, because in this course, we will be covering all those contents which you require for completing your OCI Foundation associate exam and OCI Architect associate exam. So without any doubt, you will be able to clear these two certificates.
okay.
Okay, so this is the module which we have completed yesterday, Introduction to the Cloud Computing, where we have talked about the cloud computing, service models, global footprints, architecture regions, and then today we are into this part, which is talking about the sign up process and console overview. We have done that. And starting from tomorrow, we will be starting with the identity access management. As I explained yesterday, so this course is designed in such a way that you will finish all your foundation part initially. It will be like a new from the scratch. If you have to start your journey in OCI, to do a migration of your database from on-prem to OCI. So what all things you need, like activating the account. But here we have done with a free account, but in the real time, if you are a customer, you will be dealing with your Oracle sales team guys, which will talk about what is the workloads you are going to migrate. And according to that, they will give you some estimations. You'll go through the discussions and get your account activated based on your commitments with the sales team. So that's the initial phase. Once your account is activated, the second thing is what you do is creating the users, additional users. That is what we are talking here about identity and access management. So how you create onboard your users to the tenancy, how you set the users, groups, policies to have the least privilege principle into picture. So that is what this module is all about. And then we will next see how to create the VCNs. The next thing is to have the virtual cloud networks created in the tenancies. So we will talk about what is a VCN, how you create the VCN. We will practically do that. We'll create a VCN, we'll create a subnet, and we will understand about the security part on the VCNs. What is the CIDRs which we need to and which we'll be using in the tenancies? What standards we need to use with respect to the CIDRs? And we'll talk about the different gateways like the peering gateways, dynamic routing gateways, or NAT gateways, internet gateways, service gateways. This is all coming under the VCN part. And then we will see how to provision the compute services, how you will install, provision the compute instances, different types of compute services we have, like bare metal virtual machines and the dedicated virtual hosts, DVH, which we call it as. And in that sessions, we will also see different things like how you can export your images, compute images, and do the auto scaling for your computes and instance pooling. All this comes under the compute services. And in the other session, we will be talking about the load balancers, how you provision them, how you set up a high availability architecture. I think that is also there. I'm just giving a heads up here itself as a different module. But once we have the two computes, we will have a web server installed on the computes, and we will set up this load balancer and see how to set up the high availability for two web applications running on two different compute nodes. And we will see the complete configuration of the load balancer, how you set up the backend sets, how you set up the health analyzer for the load balancers and all that things. And then we will be having sessions on the storage part. So once we have the computes provision, we need to attach additional volumes. Or if we are doing some kind of migration, you need an object storage, which will be used to put the files from your on-premises to OCI. And from this storage service, you will pull them to your compute services, compute instances, or DB nodes. So we'll talk about the storage, like object storage, with all the use cases with object storage, with all the practical sessions on object storage, like create the storage services and how you upload the files from on premises. Like we'll simulate a compute, a server which is not part of the OCI, and from there how you move the files and how you download the files, upload the files. We'll see in the object storage part. And similarly, for the block volume and boot volumes, this is in the OCI part, how you create these volumes, how you mount this volumes to the compute instances. We'll practically look into that, like the mounting commands, how you format them, how you extend the volumes, if you have to extend the volumes, online extension. All this will come under the block volume and boot volume. Similarly, for the file storage as well. And then we'll move on with the database part, which will be a complete 2 or 3 sessions, which we'll cover here, starting with the provisioning of the database in OCI Console. And we'll look into the various options available for the customers in the database section. And then we'll talk about the different editions, how you manage the patching, how you do the automatic backups, and how you enable the data guard DR also, how you associate DR in the console. It's fully automated things which we'll see from the console. Also, once we provision the database, we'll log into the database from the backend. We'll look into the database, few things practically we'll do, and also talk about how to upgrade the database. So this is all hands-on sessions which we will have a deep dive into the base database service, which is your VMDB system, comes under the PaaS model. Also, we'll discuss about the XSES provisioning. We'll run through the screenshots on how you do the provisioning of XSES and what all things you need to ensure and as per the best practices for the XR database. Similarly, for autonomous database, also we'll have the same kind of sessions: provisioning, cloning, patching, backup, restore, all that we will do here. And high availability disaster recovery concepts, which will be covering as part of computes and as part of the DB as well. And then we have a session on cost management with budgets and quotas. This is something for the governance and administration part, and where we'll understand how you set up the OCA budgets, how you do the cost analysis, how you set the service limits, how you check the service limits, how you set some quotas and policies to your resources. And there will be a module on the CI APIs. And this is a brief introduction part on your command line interface and software development kits. This is something from the developer services, how you use the developer services in case if you have to automate this provisioning, if instead of doing it from the console, if you have to automate these things, how you do it from the command line interface. So that is what we are going to see in this part. This is something from the developer services. And then from the migration point of view, we will have something like Oracle database cloud backup service. So this backup service, we will be using it to do a kind of simulate a migration, where we will take a database running on an on-premises, something like that, and we will install this backup cloud module in that DB. And using this module or tool, we will take the backup of the database, and that backup, which will be moved to the object storage in OCI. And from there, how you restore it to your DBCS or to your computes where you want to install or provision the database. So this is by talking about taking the manual RMAN backups and installing this tool in the on-prem and OCI side. And from the observability and monitoring section, we'll talk about the monitoring notification services, how you set up the alarms, notifications to your resources in OCI, like maybe some resource is running, some compute is running with more than 90% of CPU, and you need an alert, how you will set that, how you can get the alarms for that. And we have a module on tagging services. This is something like for each resource, you can add some tags. We will understand in what way the tags are useful for us. And we will also do the demo part. So most of the things what we are discussing here, we'll do the demo part for all these modules. Like web servers, we'll create the computes and install these web servers and access them, how to access them from the internet, open them from the internet. So what things you need to ensure here in order to access them, like sorry, security list or the network security groups or the route tables, what you need to ensure, which needs to be in place. So we will talk all that in this part. So that's what high availability using load balancer. I've already explained about this. Auto scaling configuration. This is again the instance pool, which we have in the compute instance part, how you can set automatic auto scaling of instances. We will do a practical session on this. And then finally, we'll talk about this tool, which is EBS Cloud Manager. We will understand how to set up this cloud manager, how you install and provision this tool, and using this tool, how you will be provisioning new EBS environments in OCI. And using this tool, how you will do the automation of your migration for an EBS instance running in your on-premises to OCI Cloud. So that is divided into two sessions, like deploying, installing, provisioning of the cloud manager, and using cloud manager, how you will provision the EBS instances and how you do the lift and shift of an EBS instance from on-premises. And finally, we will end up with the security sessions where we will talk about all those security tools which I've shown you in the OCI console, like the Cloud Guard, security compartments or security zones, or the VSS, which is the vulnerability scanning services, or the WAF, web application firewall, or data OCI Vault, data safe. All these tools we will discuss, which we will be using as part of the best practices going forward. Once you provision all the services and do the data migration, then we will look into the security part, how you ensure your services are secured in a betterly secured way with all these tools available in OCI. And the final module is all about the guidance on the certifications, guidance on the resume preparation, or any interview job assistance, open-ended questions you have. So we can deal all that in the final session. Yeah, so that's all we are going to cover in this training model. As I said, it is covering the complete topics, all the topics which we required for the OCI Foundation certification, as well as OCI Architect Associate certification. And along with that, additionally, we are talking about few things from the professional part, which is like the migrations or a deep dive into the database part, or some extended advanced topics which we are covering under the computes or networking part, which are part of your professional certification as well. So any questions so far?
No, Hemant. I said.
that is clear, then I think we are good for the day. I request you, if you're interested in to enroll into this program, contact the admin team and get yourself enrolled. So from tomorrow, we will be starting the identity and access management session, which will be talking about how you create the users. And once you create the users, how you create the groups and assign these users to the groups, and what is the use of groups. And we'll see the syntaxes of the policies, how you create them, how, how you uh, how you create the different compartments for these users and the resources to be created. And we will discuss about the foundation setup, like how you do in a real time if you have to start with the foundation setup. So we'll discuss with something like a CD3 template, and we will then go on to look into that, like how you do the automation also. We'll just go something briefly about that, and then we'll create some users in the tenancy what we have logged in. So for these things, always free account is still fine. Only if we are going to do the provisioning of database, then we need some credits and also some compute instances if you want to provision, uh, uh, like which are not the basic CPUs or CPUs, then you need the additional credits. But for time being, I'll continue with my free account what I have to show you the demo part. And along with that, let me also show you something like what we are going to provide you. I think these are the notes which I'm talking about, which we will be using in our day-to-day lab sessions. Like, let's say, if today we are talking about something like a volume, boot volume. So we'll go to this notes, which talks about a few steps which we will be taking from this notes, like what kind of commands we will be running in order to attach the volume, like mount commands which we'll be using to detach a volume, to extend a volume. So these kind of notes will also be shared with you. And then let me show you the labs PDFs. So these are the labs which we have, like identity and access management. So these PDFs will give you the practice for this module, like identity and how to enable the multi-factor authentication. So if you follow this particular guide, it has tasks step by step to for you to create them or enable the MFA. And let's say create IAM components. All right. So these are some of the labs, around 21 labs which we have. These labs will be shared, and all these PPTs which will be part of this course will be shared with you. All right. So if there are no other questions, then we are good for the day. So wish you a very happy weekend, and let's catch up on the Monday with identity and access management session. In the meanwhile, you can get yourself enrolled and talk about the course details with the admin part.
So for account creation and all, today we'll do, or from Monday we'll start?
Account creation, I want you guys to do yourself for that free account, which I have shown you in the sign up process. So you get created your accounts by Monday, and we can use them. You can use them parallelly when we are discussing about the topics.
Okay.
Okay, then thank you all. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you all. Bye bye.
Thank you.